New chapter for TNT. We're red, ready, and responsible. Vote PNM. Great is the PNM.
Man is it in your hand. PNM is the plan. Ready, hold it steady. We are
PNM, 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 PNM.
PNM.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, Red Army. As far as the eye can see, all I see is resplendent red. Good afternoon to each and every one of you. The Honorable Stuart Richard Young, Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Political leader, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. Deputy political leaders, General Secretary, Ministers of Government, my fellow candidates in battle, my Cumuto Manzanilla family, and our lovely coordinator, Senator the Honorable Alison West. PNM family joining us here in person at Eddie Hart from their homes and across the world on the World Wide Web. Fellow patriots of Trinidad and Tobago, good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, friends all, on Monday we have a very, very serious decision to make, friends. Now for some of us here, that decision is easy. You see, you recognize and accept that the PNM presents responsible, sustainable, equitable, and all-inclusive service to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. But for others, friends, the decision is difficult. And it is these people I wish to address most directly this afternoon, my fellow young people in particular. From time to time in Trinidad and Tobago, we hear the narrative that the electorate votes out rather than votes in. And friends, I want to say to you today that that thinking is very dangerous, ladies and gentlemen. You see, what we choose to do during those 12 hours on Monday, whether we vote or whether we stay at home in particular, has serious long-term effects. Those effects can be positive or they can be detrimental, ladies and gentlemen. On Monday evening, what is going to happen is a government is going to be elected, but we must decide who will comprise that government. So when the other side tells you to vote out something, what they are really telling you is to vote for them. And I want you to consider that very, very carefully. You casting your vote on election day is you saying that you want that person for whom you have voted to represent you for 5 years, to make decisions on your behalf. And those decisions have the potential to affect your future, your children's future, and the society at large, friends. So a vote against the PNM is a vote for the UNC coalition. Understand that very clearly. And our Honorable Attorney General told us what UNC stands for. But once we understand that, let us consider what is on offer from the UNC. And the first thing is that their social media campaign bombards us with code yellow. It leads us to believe that the alternative to the PNM is the UNC, but that is not true. What in fact they are offering to us is a coalition, and they have called it a coalition of interests. But ladies and gentlemen, we know here in the PNM that in any democratic country in the world, when a coalition is offered for election, that coalition states very clearly to the population a few things, including the leaders and the members of that coalition, the agreements that they have come to, and in particular, who will be the leader of the government and which of the members will form ministers. And importantly, a coalition should present exactly what are their issues that bind them together. What are the common interests that they share? Now in this case, in the case of the UNC, they have a pickup side, and that includes the likes of people like Roger, the PSA, Philip Edward Alexander. And it would seem some other candidates who have not been screened nor nominated by constituencies, but are posing as UNC candidates, such as might be the case in Cumuto, Manzanilla, or might be the case in Tunapuna. I don't know, it might be the case. But there has been no clear statement of who exactly the leaders of that UNC coalition are, or if and how that coalition will benefit us, the people. Because that should be their first priority, to prove to the people that the reason the UNC join up with anybody they could have joined up with, once they have enough cocoa in the sun, they join up with you. That's the first requirement. You have to have cocoa in the sun, and you have to have real questions to answer. But when they join up with you, what is the benefit are they offering you? But they simply have refused to tell us that benefit. And more concerningly, there are no details of the arrangements among them. And more concerning than that, they call themselves a coalition of interests. Yet they have, that is plural, interests, but they have one interest, and that is a common hatred for the PNM and a burning, desperate desire to get themselves into office and get their hands on the treasury that belongs to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And I want you to cast your memories back to Ansel Roger and Philip Edward Alexander and Jack Warner and what they have all said about UNC and Kamla Prasad Bisesa. They said it. They said things that are so vile that I will not repeat them on this platform, on this honorable platform here today. But you know what they said. So they have no information, no plan, no agenda, no proposals coming from this coalition. So that when their social media influencers are bombarding us on social media about Code Yellow, who exactly are they asking us to vote for? You see, some of us here are going to be very, very surprised, you know. When we go in the polling station expecting to see below the balize a rising sun, we mightn't see no rising sun at all. Because of that secret coalition they want to present to us under this yellow code. And that is how their campaign is misleading to the public. So could you imagine this? Could you imagine voting for them on Monday and you wake up Tuesday morning and you find out that Anand Ram Logan is the Attorney General again? Could you imagine you wake up Tuesday morning and find out that Philip Edward Alexander is a minister of something? Anil Roberts is a minister of something? Roger Alexander is the minister of something, and he had to go and represent us in Trinidad and Tobago on an international stage, talking about the future of our energy. Could you imagine that? On the other hand, the PNM offers continued stability, sound leadership, transparent and open policies that are available for scrutiny to all. One party, one team, one mission, and that mission is to continue to improve the quality of life for all of the people of Trinidad and Tobago in a manner that is responsible.
PNM.
The UNC has continuously demonstrated to us that there is no room for a difference of opinion. And as their leader has announced publicly, the UNC puts party before country. But we know here, it is always country before party.
PNM.
So in case we are adventurous on election day and we want to see what will happen, remind yourselves that we saw this movie already and it was a disaster in 2010. The very same Kamla Prasad Bisesa and her coalition collapsed under its own weight of instability, infighting, and corruption. All of that happened very quickly. So ladies and gentlemen, in making a decision on Monday, I invite you to consider the reality of casting your vote for anything other than the PNM, which is voting for uncertainty, voting for the unknown, and voting for a pickup side that playing by VAPs. So vote for responsible governance, vote for competence, vote a proven track record of performance, vote for a team you know, versus that pickup side with room for anybody with enough question to answer. Vote sound leadership. Vote for progress. Vote to go forward, never backward. And remember on Monday that red is the word. Red is the word.
PNM.
Red is the word.
PNM.
There is no code.
PNM.
It is red, 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 red.
PNM.
So Monday evening, we will join up with Patsy in Mayaro, with Roger in Togo Sandy Grande, with Fosta in Laoketa Talparo, with Penny in Arima, Romain in Malabar Mosika, Camille in Trinity Maloney, Marvin in Aruka Lopino, Ford in Tunapuna, Renuka in St. Augustine, Terrence in St. Joseph, Eunice in Barataria Sour, and join up with Stuarty in Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West, and every other PNM candidate, and go down to Palisade House, and we will say together, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we shall and have prevailed.
New chapter for TNT, where red, ready, and responsible. Vote PNM. Great is the PNM.
We are